Hi, I'm from IslandHotTubs&Pools, and in this segment you're going to be learning about your heater and your chlorinator. If you have a saltwater generator, then you'll disregard the portion about the chlorinator. When learning about the heater, we're going to focus on how you're able to set your temperature, your on and off, as well as your heater bypass, and then we're also going to look at the chlorinator, how to fill it, and how to set it properly.
Alright, so if you have an above ground pool with a pool heater, you're going to have a setup very similar to this one here, where you have what we call the heater harness here, all your plumbing that leads into the heater. You're going to have the heater, and then you have your electrical, which hooks to your GFCI. So at your GFCI component, you're going to have your breaker for the heat pump, and whenever you flip this is going to act as your on for your heater. Similarly, if you're not using the heater and you don't want it to function, you're going to flip it in the off position. Very easy to run. Whenever you turn it on for the first time, you may need to push and hold the power button to turn the screen on, but otherwise you're just going to push and hold the lock. That will unlock the screen for you, and then you're able to push the up and down arrows to set the temperature to whatever you desire the water to be, and then whenever you're done, you'll just click and hold the lock button to lock your screen again. Alright, so we're going to take a closer look at the heater harness. So with the heater harness, you're going to have an H shape in your plumbing, with the middle one being your bypass, and these two being your inlet and outlet. And in this example, we are seeing that the bypass is open and that this is closed off from the heater. So the water will flow in through the bypass and then go out towards your pool. This way the water's not running through the heater. You may not want to run it because it's too cold outside, or if you're doing a lot of chemical treatment, you may turn it off temporarily. And then if you want to run the heater, you're going to do the opposite. So you're going to flip the bypass handle, you're going to close that, and you are going to open the other two handles. So this will allow the water to heat up in this position. The water is going to flow through into the heater, heat it up, and then send it out towards your pool. And you always want this bypass to be closed whenever you are running your heater. And this just prevents any mixing of water, any error codes, and any trouble and pressure it may cause to the heater. Another way that you always know that you have your handles in the right direction is usually they all face the same way. So in this example, when they're all facing towards the heater, then we know that the heater is open and it's heating the water, and vice versa. If we were to close our ball valves, they're all facing in the same direction, so we know that this is now open to the bypass and these two are closed.
So if you have a heater on your pool and you're not saltwater, you're going to have what we call a chlorinator. A chlorinator is this tall canister that you're going to put your chlorine pucks in. So this canister is going to go after our heater and our plumbing lines, and it's going to fill with chlorine pucks. The reason why this goes after our heater is so that we're not having the constant feed of chlorine pucks dissolving and running through our heaters. So we'll put this after the heater so that it will dissolve after the water flows through. So on your chlorinator, you're going to have a little latch when you're filling it. You need to push down on this and then start turning the lid. And whenever you start hearing a sound, then you need to stop turning it and let that sound go until it stops. Whenever the chlorine pucks dissolve, then it tends to build up a lot of gases. And that is the sound of the gases flowing out of the chlorinator. And it's very harsh on the lungs when you do breathe it in. So you want to let that go out before you open it up and start putting pucks in. Once the sound finishes from your chlorinator, you're able to finish opening it. So you're just going to continue twisting the chlorinator lid until you're able to take it off. And then you're able to put your pucks in your canister. And then you're able to put your lid back on. And then whenever you place the lid back on, you want to make sure that you hear that clicking sound of the lid hooking into that latch. So on your chlorinator, there's going to be a little dial, and this goes from 0 to 8. This is going to depend on your chlorine demand in the water. So if you have a really hot day or you have a lot of people in your pool, then you may need to set it a little higher than what you usually set it for. Usually a 3 to a 4 is a good reading, but until you start getting used to and getting comfortable with your pool, then you'll just have to monitor this.